Hello, everybody. Welcome to our demo session today. My name is Luis Girigay, and I'm the global leader for the Digital Solutions Technical Advisors team. And with me, I have Tiffany Amos. Tiffany?
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to everyone. My name is Tiffany Amos, and I'm the program manager for the Digital Solutions Academy. And welcome. We're happy to have you here to view the demos that we have for you today. Luis?
Thank you, Tiffany. So, for our demos today, I'm very pleased to announce that our very famous toy makers company is back. Now, they went through a little bit of a rebranding, so they are now called Showcase Toys. But one thing I can tell you is that with the new leadership, they came back bigger and better. Now, just like many companies around the world, digital transformation is one of the main objectives for Showcase Toys. But this could mean different things for different companies, but no matter what, the challenges are about the same. Security, for example, we all know about the recent events that involved other software vendors and how many companies are worried if they will become the next victim. Deployment and support. Showcase Toys is looking at optimizing their infrastructure by taking advantage of cloud native technologies, but in their own data centers. And even if they decide to move to the cloud, they just want to make sure that they can run anywhere and everywhere in a secure way. Development and data management. Many of their applications are extremely critical to their business. And to be honest, there is no platform like ACL Domino that can achieve the same level of flexibility, security, and speed. But these applications were developed at a time where web access and mobile access was not as critical as in today's time. So what should they do with all those applications? Redevelop? Replatform? Wait a few minutes and you will find out. Now, for data management, all they want to make sure is no data goes into the wrong hands. It's easy to access in a secure way. And finally, APIs. There are so many apps in use at Showcase Toys, but you know what? They just feel disconnected, right? There is so much that could be done if we bring these applications together. Tiffany, what do you think?
Luis, I think you've outlined quite a few challenges that Showcase Toys is experiencing with their digital transformation. And at this point, I think another concern for them is going to be time, right? They tried to re-platform one of their applications and it took them almost 9 months and they couldn't even achieve the same functionality that they had before on the new platform. And they just can't afford to lose that amount of time as they move forward in their digital transformation. Also, I think that given the impact of current events, the never ending threat of the security breaches, and all the items that you just described, one of the goals for Showcase Toys is to ensure that HCL Domino is at the center of their digital transformation. Now that we know the situation and the challenges that they're having, I think that this is a perfect time to show you how HCL Domino plays a role for them, not only today, but also in their future. But before we do that, before we jump into the demos, next slide, let me introduce you to the team at Showcase Toys. Let's meet Andy. He's our system administrator, and he just popped a big question, guys. So congratulations to Andy. He's engaged to be married soon. And then we have our developer, Carla. She's married with 2 kids, and she enjoys watching them play soccer with my daughter, Carrington. And last but not least, we have Tina, the CIO, who is quite frankly too busy to do anything but work on this digital transformation. So let's go ahead and walk through their experiences as they use HCL Domino to address the challenges and concerns we just laid out. Luis, take it away with the first demo.
Meet Andy. He is a system administrator at Showcase Toys, and his main goals for the next 6 months are optimize the backup and restore strategy, make sure their data is secure, and of course, look at modernizing their infrastructure and take advantage of cloud technologies but in their own data centers. For example, things like containers and orchestration are very hot topics at the moment. Let's see how it all works. Thomas is one of our users, and to show you how backup and restore works, he's going to delete all messages in the sales folder, and he's also going to delete the folder itself. And just to make sure messages are gone, we're gonna go to the trash folder and remove the messages from there as well. Then let's go to the backup tool. From here, all we need to do is find Thomas' database and make sure it has been backed up before. Let's go ahead and create a restore job and select the information we need, like which backup to use, do we want to restore folders and documents, and finally, which folder should we use to put all these restored documents. Let's now submit and run the restore command, which is going to take a few seconds, and let's go back to Thomas' mail file. You see the folder where all documents have been consolidated, but also you see the documents in the original folder. Now that backup is up and running, let me show you how simple it is to deploy SSL and keep our data secure. In Domino 12, we can now go to the SSL certificate store and set up all the SSL certificates from a single location. Step number 1 is to update the global variables. Once completed, we can go and start our very first SSL request. We're going to create a request for apps.acl-showcase.com. We select the Domino server, we apply the fully qualified host name, and once submitted, it just takes a few seconds for that request to get approved. Once done, we can go to the web browser, do a quick test, and make sure that our site is now secure. Keep in mind, this new certification store is just another option to keep your data and your platform secure. For years, Domino has become the very same definition of a secure platform and the reason why so many governments and companies around the globe, they rely on us. And for the ones that do not, well, those are probably the ones you see in the news being victims of cyber attacks. If you were wondering if Domino is cloud native or it runs on Kubernetes, I believe you will enjoy the next couple of demos. During this demo, I'm going to show you how easy it is to deploy and manage a Domino server on OpenShift. Our very first step is to connect to the OpenShift console via command line. I go to my terminal window, I paste the command, and now I'm connected to my OpenShift cluster. Next, I need to establish a connection with my container registry. For that, I need to create what's called a secret. That secret contains all the authentication details for me to connect to that container registry and be able to pull that Domino image. There you go. Now the secret has been created. Next, there are a couple of files I need to work with. Let me show you one at a time. The PVC file only defines the storage to be used or the persistent volume claim. We're not going to do anything with it. The next file is the config map. This is actually a very important file because it contains all the configuration details for Domino, things like the name of the Domino server, administrators, nodes INI, SSL configuration, transaction logging, DEOS, and so on. We have basically captured all the Domino settings in one single file. And finally, there is the autoconfig, which is the file that actually makes the deployment of the Domino server. On this file, we set things like the name of the namespace in the Kubernetes cluster, the credentials to be used, and the container registry once again. Now, let's go and actually apply these settings. I'm going to apply the PVC storage or the persistent volume claim, and now I'm also going to apply the config map. This only takes a few seconds. Once those two are deployed, let me actually go back to the OpenShift console so we can see how the PVC or the secrets actually are getting deployed. You can see the secrets right there. No pods are running. So I go back to terminal and let's now deploy Domino. This takes a few seconds. Let's go back to OpenShift. And now you see the Domino server being created. What's happening here is it's pulling that Domino 12 image from the container registry and it's creating a Domino server on the fly with all the settings we put in the config map in real time. This usually takes just a few seconds. In fact, it just finished, right? Now, for the Domino administrators in the room, you can look at things like compute power consumption, memory, and so on. But for those that like to use the Domino console, you can just go here to terminal in OpenShift, type Domino console, and boom, now you are inside the Domino server console and you can actually interact with it just like you would on a standard Domino server. But wait, this demo doesn't end here. Let's see what other companies are doing with Domino and Kubernetes. Factor Y, for example, is one of our great business partners in Europe, specifically in Italy. They run Domino on vanilla Kubernetes, and they use a Domino app to manage all the YAML generation for all these configurations. On the fly, they are creating 10 or 12 Domino servers with everything you need for a complete deployment for a fictitious company. Then on the right, you see how all the containers are being created, and now in Grafana, you see all the compute power utilization by those containers. Let's say that a couple of weeks, a couple of months, you no longer need those servers, those Domino servers. You go back to Kubernetes, you delete those deployments, and within a few seconds, now you see on the right that those containers are going away. And there you go. That's another example of Domino in Cloud Native. Next, let me introduce Carla. She's an amazing developer and has worked with Showcase Toys for about 2 years. Carla inherited a platform with many Domino apps, and while critical to the business, they do not allow for mobile or web access. Also, she would like to bring these applications back to life with more modern designs and UIs, as you probably know that Endicott Blue is not popular anymore. Last but not least, she has tons of ideas for how the value of these applications could be extended by adding integration with third-party platforms and APIs. Let's see how ACL Nomad and Domino Query Language actually help Carla. Using my web browser, I can now open this GDPR application, which was developed as a Notes client application many years ago. ACL Nomad, powered by Domino 12, allows me to access any Notes application as a web interface and still keep the same functionality and business logic, but with the added security of Domino. In this app, we also take advantage of DQL and the new query results processing tool, which allows me to use DQL and perform queries across hundreds of databases and millions of documents. After receiving a request from a customer in Europe, we have been able to identify 526 documents where his name is stored. We performed this search on a dataset of 49 databases and over 4 million documents. From here, I can act on the data based on the requirement. Another application that Carla developed was the DQL Extended Examples, or soon to be renamed DQL Explorer. In this application, Carla can understand how traditional queries in Lotus script perform compared to DQL. In the example of the screen, we see how performing a search on this same database with over 1.5 million documents, it takes about 16 seconds if we use traditional Lotus script versus 12 seconds using DQL. On a different query, we see a much bigger difference. A traditional search brings the results in 8 seconds, where using DQL it only took 3. Now, keep in mind that DQL is not always about speed. Yes, there will be a lot of situations where you will see that DQL will perform much faster, 10, 20, even 80% faster, but there will be other situations where DQL will perform at the same speed, but the real benefit at that point will be that it's actually better and easier to perform the query or to build the query via code. You have seen in the past how Domino integrates with other systems like ServiceNow, Salesforce, Twitter, Amazon Alexa, and many more. Let's see now what other platforms Carla is working on. Hey Siri. Showcase Travel System.
Welcome to the Showcase Travel System, powered by HCL Domino. Before I can book your trip, what's your access code?
1352.
Hello, Luis Garrigay. I see you want to book a business trip. Where would you like to go?
London.
Your Domino directory profile says you are based out of Miami. Are you traveling from the city?
Yes.
When would like to start your trip to London?
July 12th.
How many days?
6.
I just noticed you have 5 meetings scheduled while you will be out. Should I reschedule those for the following week?
Yes.
I have rescheduled 3 meetings and countered 2 calendar invites. Just in case, should I create an out of office in your HCL Verse calendar for the days you will be traveling?
Yes, please.
I have created a travel request from Miami to London for 6 days starting on July 12, 2021, and returning on July 18, 2021. I also sent a travel approval request to your manager, Tina Peters. An out-of-office has also been created. Safe travels, Louis Skirigay. And remember to check with the local authorities regarding health-related requirements.
If I go back to my calendar, I will see 3 meetings have been rescheduled, and the 2 remaining, I have proposed a new date for the following week. My manager Tina has also received a request for approval via Microsoft Teams. From here, she can act on this request like add comments, approve, reject, and more. Now that my travel request has been approved, let me go to Nomad and complete my booking. In addition to an amazing interface, Carla has added the capability of actually booking the whole trip from the travel app. With just one click, and based on the dates, locations, and other data already available in both the Domino directory and the travel app, this application will actually search for the best travel options as well as hotels and allow me to book the whole trip in just seconds. Now that I'm in London, I would like to start submitting my expenses on the go. So the very first step for me is to access that very same application, but now using my cell phone. From the travel app, I can now navigate through other views like expenses and vacations. Well, let me submit all the information for my expenses. I also take a picture of the receipt, and finally, I don't know about you guys, but I always forget which receipt goes where, so the ability of tracking GPS coordinates and translating those into a physical address is quite nice. Oh, one more thing. Because I'm traveling internationally and because this restaurant actually have a very good Wi-Fi, let me take my application offline so I can keep using the app from my cell phone even without internet access during the rest of my trip. There you go. Now it says the application is on my device so I can use it offline. By the way, if you don't have an iPhone, that's okay. Let me invite Brian for the next piece of the demo.
Talk to Domino quotes.
You need to authenticate yourself. What is your PIN code?
My ID is 4321.
A warm welcome to you, dear Brian Arnold. What can I do for you today?
Show pending quotes.
I have found 3 customers with pending quotes. Customers are Canada Toys, Joe Smith Toy Trains, Smart School Supplies. Which customer are you looking for?
Show Canada Toys.
I have found the quote C3LLTB for customer Canada Toys owned by Brian Arnold for a total amount of $600. Do you want to approve or reject it?
Approve.
I set quote number C3LLTB to status approved.
For the next demo, I want to show you how Carla is applying responsive design and mobile development techniques to all the new Domino applications she's developing now. First, see how the iPad provides full information for every item in the menu and the iPhone only shows the icons. Next, using these simple Domino formulas, we can identify the type of device, operating system, and even how much screen and real estate we see and how it calculates in real time based on the layout. Next, you can now decide what to show and when. For example, for cell phones, we prefer to use a condensed view with the values in multiple lines, as it will make it much easier to tap on these documents in case you want to open them. You can apply the same technique to forms. For example, showing all the fields in a one-column approach versus 2 columns when you're using an iPad or a tablet. And last but not least, remember you can interact with the camera on the device as well as the GPS. So this is the last demo for Carla, and she really wanted to say thank you to Andy and the rest of the system administration team for deploying ACL Nomad. With ACL Nomad Web and ACL Nomad Mobile, they give her a lot of power in the fact that she can now deploy Notes applications to mobile devices and web browsers in just seconds. It's just priceless. So let's see what idea Carla came up with. Let's talk about cloud management and digital transformation and how ACL Domino is helping organizations like Showcase Toys to achieve their cloud native objective. With ACL Nomad and the power of ACL Domino, transforming your business has never been easier. For this demo, we created a simple app called Multi-Cloud Manager. It's an app that automates all the management and deployment capabilities across multiple cloud vendors, all done via Domino. From here, you can manage and deploy resources in clouds like AWS, Azure, GCP, and many others. In fact, let me show you how this works. I'm going to create 2 VMs on Microsoft Azure. I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to give it some settings like size and operating system, and on which region I want to create them. Let me save it. And we now see the 2 different resources waiting to be created. Let's now jump into the Microsoft console to see what's happening. From the Microsoft console, we refresh maybe once or twice, and we should see how these VMs are coming to life. There you go. We see machine number 1. Let's give it a couple of seconds, and we should see machine number 2 coming up pretty quick. Perfect. Now we see the second machine. Let's open one of them just to see all the different settings we actually set via Domino. Now, keep in mind this is just a demo application to show you how powerful Domino is. Domino can actually help you manage entire complete cloud environments, right? From Domino. How cool is that? How amazing is that? Now, let's make something pretty cool here. I know many of you are looking into Kubernetes and containers and orchestration and all of that. What about if we actually ask Domino to create a Kubernetes cluster for us without we doing anything at the Kubernetes level? It's all done by Domino. I enter all the variables required by this specific code. I'm going to save it. Let's go to the Microsoft console. There you go. You have created a complete Kubernetes cluster on AKS, which is the Kubernetes vendor from Microsoft, using Domino in less than 5 seconds. I don't think it can be cooler than that. In fact, there are organizations out there using this type of integration between Domino and other cloud vendors in managing their infrastructures. Let me show you this other pretty cool demo. DNOG, one of our great user groups based in Germany, they use a very similar approach where Domino manages the deployment not only VMs but also Domino servers in the cloud. When they have education and they require multiple VMs, they use this Domino app where they deploy all the Domino servers they need, and a couple of days later, when that class is completed, they go back to the Domino app, they mark all the servers for deletion, and within a few seconds, all those servers are now gone.
Luis, those are some really exciting features and capabilities that you've shown from Andy and Carla. Let's now turn our attention to Tina. As the CIO of Showcase Toys, her perspective comes from the executive level. Her main priority is to ensure that several key initiatives are met during this time of digital transformation. She must increase the security of their data, create a cloud-native environment to modernize their infrastructure, and receive the ROI that she expects by reducing unnecessary overhead and costs. Let's take a look through the lens of an executive to see how the team addresses her goals with Domino 12. Tina is very concerned about the number of news reports and incidents where companies are being exploited or taken advantage of by hackers all over the world. She needs to do everything possible to prevent Showcase Toys from becoming the next victim. We saw earlier how Tina's administrator Andy was able to easily secure the company with Domino 12's SSL and multi-factor authentication capabilities. This helped Tina to rest easier, knowing that Showcase Toys has the highest amount of security possible to prevent these types of attacks. Her number 2 priority is being cloud native. Tina realizes through Andy's demonstration that she can have Domino 12 deployed on the OpenShift platform in minutes, not hours. And on top of that, she can even deploy the servers wherever she wants: AWS, GCP, OpenShift, any cloud vendor of her choice. Domino will run on it, and Domino will help her team to manage it. Another win. Tina's final goal is ensuring her return on investment. She can clearly see how Showcase Toys' investment in Domino 12 has paid off. With their usage of HCL Nomad for web, Andy no longer has to manage a client for thousands of users. Carla doesn't have to create new applications from scratch for web accessibility, and users can see improved search performance and efficiency across the board. Applications that were only available on the client are now available wherever Showcase Toys employees go and on whatever client they want. Tina also recognized the power of possible given the success of HCL Nomad at Showcase Toys. She needed even further improvements in her efficiency and asked Carla to develop a consolidated view of the top applications and metrics at Showcase Toys. Carla created the Showcase Executive Dashboard. Information is available faster, content is aggregated, a complete solution has been created and turned around quickly. The entire business has been even further mobilized. Tina is even further amazed to see the depth of integration capabilities offered by Domino 12 as well. With the product, they were able to easily integrate their travel app in Microsoft Teams. And who knew that Domino could work with voice-activated artificial intelligence like Siri and Google? And to top it all off with the Amadeus integration, Showcase Toys can now go straight to the source for travel information, cutting down dramatically on her overhead. There can be no doubt. Tina can easily see the bottom line, and she's in the green. Her return on investment is clear, and Domino 12 has proven to be a valuable asset for the business and its transformation. Now let's take a look at how her team even further extended Domino 12. As we can see from previous demonstrations, Tina is working in an extremely data-driven organization. They have millions and millions of documents across these applications that contain customer contacts, product sales, and every interaction that her teams have made with clients all over the country. With this amount of data, it was almost impossible to get an overview of how the business was truly performing. Actually, not impossible at all. With Domino 12, Andy and Carla deployed connectors that allow other tools like Power BI and Tableau to consume data from Domino. This allows Tina to easily view analytics and reporting for Showcase Toys. Here, she has a visual representation of all product and ticket sales in every state and region across the country. If a seller scores a huge sale in Washington State, the record gets added to the back-end database. Tina doesn't have to scroll through millions of documents to find it or see the impact to the business. She can simply go to the report, refresh the application, and there it is, a dynamic update on the map once again at her fingertips and available in real time. This is an absolute game changer. Through all of these demonstrations from her team, Tina sees that Domino 12 has more than delivered. The extensibility, the integration, the security, the cloud-native capabilities. She is simply amazed. Having beautiful, valuable applications that work on desktop, browser, or mobile, it doesn't have to cost thousands of hours and thousands of dollars. Tina can visually see the value of the product and how it is a true testament to not only meeting, but exceeding her expectations in the Showcase Toys digital transformation. Luis, I have to tell you, that story, that kind of success is just absolutely amazing. I'm just as blown away as Tina, and I hope everyone is able to reap the type of benefits that she and Showcase Toys has seen with this platform. You just can't get any better. Back to you.
So guys, I really hope everybody enjoyed these demos. We put quite some work into delivering something that you can appreciate. Now, I want to make sure that because of all the excitement and because you guys being amazed by all these demos, you didn't miss anything, right? So let me summarize through a couple of points. Number one, ACL Domino is rapid application development, robust and secure, and also low code powered by Domino Vault. It gives you the ability to develop from the simplest app even to the ones that literally run your business. TCO, with the new support for Cloud Native and ACL Nomad for web browsers, managing and supporting a Domino infrastructure keeps getting easier release after release. And remember, managing a Node client now is completely optional. ACL Nomad. Wow. And I guess that it deserves another wow. ACL Nomad gives developers the possibility of taking existing applications to web and mobile in just minutes. And of course, there is no doubt moving forward that ACL Domino is the best option, the fastest option, and the most secure option for developing new applications. And finally, APIs. What an impressive world of options. If you run Domino today and you thought that Domino is a closed platform, is a closed architecture, and it doesn't integrate well with third-party apps, I think that you might have to think about that one more time. So Tiffany, any last comments or remarks?
Luis, I think that the points that you just illustrated show the power of the product and its impact on any company's digital transformation, right? We saw some impressive demos that showed just how much time, effort, and money could be saved with Domino 12 and how you can easily extend the product to not only achieve your goals, but to surpass them as well. So when you look at the cloud native capabilities, the ease of securing the company data is just amazing. And the fact that the desktop client is now optional and all apps can be accessed via a browser or a mobile device, I mean, it's another huge plus. So I just can't say enough about, I think, what we've seen today. And I also believe that any executive, administrator, or developer would be proud of the results and success that they could engineer and achieve with HCL Domino 12. So Luis, at this point, given that HCL Domino has more than satisfied Showcase Toys goals, their objectives, I think they can go back to doing what they do best, and that is making their customers happy. Everyone, thank you so much for joining our session today and listening to us present these demos and information for you. Luis, any final comments?
No, that's it. Thank you, Tiffany. And yes, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoy all these demos. It is always a pleasure to show what Domino can do. And please reach out if you want to know more. And with that, again, thank you for joining. And please don't forget to join our next session.
Bye, everyone.